Hey, everyone. This is your girl, Star.
And Lotus, how are you doing today?
I am good.
You're good?
Yeah. Yep. I just got back from Virginia, so I slept all day, like
Yeah.
literally all day. And it was amazing. Like once we landed, I just took a good nap.
Yeah.
I needed.
Yeah. How long was the drive?
The drive was like about 5.25 hours.
Yeah.
Five.
So we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. We both have had a lot going on. We both have been traveling. You just went to Virginia for a wedding. I just got back from the Poconos from a wedding myself for my cousin that got married. And I know all about that drive. That drive is exhausting. So I drove all the way from South Carolina to Pennsylvania. And I don't know that I could do the driving anymore. When I was younger, I used to be able to drive it with no problems, but girl, all of 36 is kicking in. All of 36. I mean, my hands were swollen, my feet were swollen. I looked swollen in some of the pictures, but it was a great time. I had a blast. It was the fun that I needed. Especially to see, shout out to Shaquille and Ralphie. I'm so happy for them. They had a beautiful wedding. It was one of the best weddings I had ever been to. It was a blast. I wish them a lifetime of happiness because they definitely deserve it. They definitely deserve it. And it was an amazing, amazing wedding. They had a lot of hiccups, but what wedding goes through perfectly?
Right.
None of them go through perfectly. They had it at a mansion. It was like this humongous mansion, beautiful. The food was amazing. The drinks were great. I'm always down for a good drink.
Yeah.
The drinks were great. Music was on point. Devin won best dress. Yes, Devin looked amazing. He was on it. He was on it. Everybody was stopping them.
I saw the pictures. His shoe game was.
Girl, yeah. He did that. He looked so, I was just like, look at my baby. He's so cute. Amari is beautiful as ever, but he just it was different for him because you're so used to seeing him in jeans and a tee. And to see him on the dress up side, I was like, look at him looking all sharp and stuff. Go ahead, boy. But how was the wedding that you went to?
It was great. It was one of my twin cousins. I call her, they're my first babies, is how I say it. They kind of started my babysitting journey.
Okay.
When they were younger, I used to travel with their grandma to Georgia to babysit them. And then as they started visiting us in South Carolina, I was always the babysitter. Like I always helped out. Gotcha. And just as they grown, like it's just amazing. The boy twin, they're boy and girls.
Okay.
Boy twin, he is in the Navy. So it's just great to see them as like grown-ups, you know? And when I first saw him, I was like, oh, and he was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, he should have took your moment from you. Like, no.
But y'all my babies. Like, I don't care. He was like, no, I'm too big. I'm too big for that. But the girl twin, that's the one that got married, Quanisha, to her boo, DeMarcus. And it was she a lovely experience because one, she didn't want a ceremony. Like she just wanted it very private. And I loved every bit of it, just being sure on what you wanted and how you wanted things.
Right.
And she got that. So she had the experience with the reception, which is what I went to. And it was just tons of fun. I was able to see my cousin, and I'm glad I was there for their dad, because it was just me from our family that was in attendance. So I think it felt good to have some family there with you. Yeah. And even their mom, she was excited to see me. It was great. It was needed, I think, for me to go up there and actually spend that time with them, even though literally I went yesterday in enough time to change clothes, rest, and go, and then leave in the morning to get back. And so I was on rest mode all day.
Yeah, I know the feeling. When I came back from the Poconos, I slept, like I purposely took a day off
Mhm.
just so I can have a complete day to rest, a complete day of silence. So I know what you mean. And, when I went up there, I should have thought about that as well. I left out on a Thursday. I got there Thursday evening. I ended up going to stay with, a family friend, staying with her for the evening. And I should have planned better so that I had more time because I wasn't able to get anything accomplished that I needed to do. Um, my sister's birthday was recently, and I wanted to go by her grave. I didn't get a chance to do that, so I know for now on to do better planning. I end up having to call out of work because I can work remote. I end up having to call out of work that Friday because I was exhausted from the drive up there. It took a lot longer than what I thought it was going to take.
Yeah.
The ride back, we did a caravan with my mom and my grandmother. But I was so happy to see my little cousin, and it brought back so many memories of him, when he was a kid, him always following me around and getting into my stuff. And I was just like, he was going around introducing, he's like, this is the only cousin I have. And I was like, now that I think about it, you're right. I am your only cousin.
Yeah.
So, I'm your only first cousin. And so I was like, he's right. And, I thought about it. I was like, I don't think my aunt had any other nieces. They did a beautiful tribute to her as well, to my aunt Kim that passed away.
Oh, that's so
So
fun.
yeah, definitely needed.
Yeah.
But it's been like one of those weeks, right? I
Right.
don't know about you, but it's just been one of those weeks where I've literally just shut everything off. I really haven't taken many calls. Today I went ahead and I just put my phone on do not disturb.
Right.
Um, I've been trying to stay off of social media for a while now. I think over the next couple of weeks, I'm really going to do like a serious social media detox because I feel like I need it. I feel like sometimes we need to just detach from everything and kind of get ourselves together and get our
Absolutely.
get our thoughts together. I have a couple of things in the works right now. I'm trying to make plans for my future, for the future of my family, things like that. So with that being said, I went ahead and I just haven't been taking calls.
Mhm.
I love people, and I think I put up a post about it. I love people. My people that I talk to on a daily. They know I love you. I go sometimes. It happens. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it's important for us to establish that,
Right.
and and to realize that sometimes we just have to disappear. And I think that really does go into our topic for today about establishing those healthy boundaries,
Right.
even in our friendships,
Right.
because I think it's hard, especially whenever you've been friends with people for so long,
Hmm.
where you want to feel like you're in the loop of everything.
Right.
And truthfully, you're just my
Yeah.
friend, but you don't have to know my ins and outs of all of my life.
Right.
So if you need
Absolutely.
time in knowing that and respecting that, I think that's the most important part whenever it comes to establishing and having those friendship boundaries.
Absolutely. And I wholeheartedly agree. But along with that comes a lot of communication as well. And it's
Absolutely.
okay to communicate like, hey, I need a moment to myself. It's okay to say that. I don't always do that. I'm not the best at communicating with that as something that I am working on. Um, but it's okay to do that sometimes. It's okay to just, I need a break. I need a break. I need a mental break. I need an emotional break, whatever it is that you need. It's okay to do that. So when you're setting your boundaries, right? Because like I said, I'll detox. I'll detox in a heartbeat. Anybody that knows me knows, like, hey, I haven't heard from Ashley in a couple of days. She probably needs a moment. Anybody that knows me knows that. So how are you setting your boundaries?
For me, it's a lot in um, what I share. I'll
Mhm.
be honest. Most of the time, I am the one who gets the calls like, oh, Crystal, this is what's going on and everything else like that. So it's like, okay, I can give you pieces that connect, but just knowing what things I feel like sharing, and then what things honestly I would like to choose not to, or not at that moment, because sometimes it's just not the right time to share
Mhm.
about certain experiences, or like if I'm having a really 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 rough time at work, but I see that you're having a really rough time adjusting to something, I'm not likely to share what I
Right.
could be dealing with. And either I could share it with somebody else who could be dealing with that same frustration, which typically, especially if it's work related, I'll talk with like my mentor or someone else who works in that area, like, hey, this is what's going on at the office and everything else. So that one, I'm not bombarding like you or any of my other friends with the same baggage all the same time. Because to be honest, we don't want to hear it every time. I don't want to talk to you all the time and complain about like work or complain about I don't know, my sister. I love my sister, but we all know
we complain about our siblings all the time.
yeah,
So,
all that.
it's part of being a sibling. Yeah,
like
it's part of it.
nothing personal, but I know I don't want to bombard anyone with that on the same regular basis. So for me, it's definitely like how I choose the information that I share. It's not that one friend is better than the other. It's just, I feel like it's the connection between one, how you became friends.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like if you're my work friend and we talk some personal, but the majority of the time we talk work,
you don't need to know all my personal life.
That's how we work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's about picking and choosing what you decide to share and when you decide to share it. I'm one of those people, if you ask too many questions, I'm done, right? Because I'm one of those, I share what I want when I want, with who I want, how I want, and you don't get to dictate that. And I'm very clear with that boundary, because with me, if you come in and you start asking too many questions, I look at you and I'm, why are you asking me so many questions? What is it you're trying to find out? So I'm very good with setting that boundary.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, because I'm very selective of who I give certain information to and what type of information, because of that reason. And then I believe in manifestation as well. When you're trying to manifest something and you're trying to put something in the works, you can't share everything. Sometimes you got to keep stuff to yourself so that it can play out the way that you need it to play out. Yeah. And so I'll hold on to stuff. People who know me, I will hold on to it. You might not find out until 6 months later. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You and I, we have a couple of things in the works as well. And people are asking, well, what's going on with it? Relax. It'll come when it comes. So that's one of the boundaries that I like to set. Like I said, I like to tell people, like, I need my space. I need my time. Give me a couple of days.
A really great job of that.
I do. I do a great job of, I need space. I need a couple of days to myself. And it's not, sometimes people take it personal, and it's not a personal attack against anybody. It really isn't. It's just something that I need for my mental and for my emotional state. Because at the end of the day, I can't be a good friend if I'm like in a funky mood. Like you said, when we're sitting here and we're complaining all the time, who wants a friendship like that? Who wants relationships like that, where you're constantly just a Debbie Downer? It's like, oh my God, I'm going through stuff. Man, listen.
Oh no, you're calling because you're going through stuff.
Right. Not because you want to share experience with me that you're happy about, or, we can have our haha moments or whatever, or kiki moments, right? But I'm really good about setting that boundary of my personal space.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me, I set that boundary and I stick to it, and you will respect it. Just like I respect your space, you have to respect mine, because it's something I need. It's definitely something I need.
And I'll be honest. What was it? Like a week or two ago, we were supposed to record, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't hear from her, and I was offended. But
were you?
I was, and I was like, you know what? Maybe she just needed her time to herself, and I had to regroup myself.
Yeah.
And then whenever I came over, he was like, yeah, I just had a headache and everything else. I was like, okay, let me give you some grace. You had a lot going on with yourself, so I'm not going to really bother. But at first, I was like, we're supposed to record this day. What's going on? And
so I apologize for that. It wasn't anything personal against you, but you know me, when I get my headaches, I literally go in my room, I shut my door, I close the door, I turn everything off, and I knock out. I don't talk to anybody, you know. So I do apologize because it's not one of those things where I want to alienate you or anybody that I'm close to. I don't want to do that, or I don't want to make you feel some type of way. Like, I haven't heard from her. Why not? And it's okay, you know, if you call and be like, "Yo, is everything all right?" You know, I'll tell you, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm having a moment." And I would much prefer you to do that, you know, than to feel some type of way, or, you know, think that I'm ignoring you. Because that's not the case. I'm not ignoring anybody, not intentionally at least.
Yeah.
It's not an intentional thing.
Instead, I just had to stop by. You know what I do. I go,
Listen, if Crystal goes, I think, what is it? I think you have a 2 week max. Is that what it is?
um,
You have like a 2 or 3 week max.
yeah,
And if she doesn't hear from me, so I do go through that, guys. Like, I'll go 2 or 3 weeks where I just sit in my space and I have to regroup, and then I come out of it. You know, that's the cancer in me. That's what we do. But Crystal will literally pull up on me. She will. Where are you at? I'm at home. Okay, I'm on my way. I'm like 10 minutes out. Wait, what? She's like, okay, I just gotta put eyes on you. And then she comes and she'll sit in for like 20 minutes. She'll put eyes on me and then she'll leave.
you have to be sometimes, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, if that could be me totally crossing that boundary,
Right.
by making those stops. But I feel like for myself as a
It's a
friend,
concern. It's
yeah,
a
it's
concern.
gonna be a
And
good
I'm okay with that.
like that. Yeah.
You know, there's very few people that I would allow to pop up on me like that. And you're one of them. You're one of the very few. Anybody else, I'm like, you ain't coming to my house. No, you're not. You're not interrupting my energy and what I got going on here. But you, I don't mind, you know, because I know that it's coming from a genuine place, and I know it's coming from a place of love. Because I do, you know, anybody that knows me, like, I will shut everything down. I do. I shut everything down. You know, and it's like I said, it's not intentional. And especially when I'm trying to focus on something,
Right.
right? Like, I have a major project that I may or may not be doing pretty soon. And so I've been like really racking my brain over the last week of like, should I, shouldn't I, maybe, maybe not, you know, between prayer and meditation, trying to figure out if this is a step that I want to take. It's something I've been thinking about for a very, very long time. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about a decade
Right.
now. And I'm thinking, you know, it's time. It's time, you know, now that everything with my insurance, between my license and my new job, like kind of settling down, and I'm getting in that space that I'm like, okay, I think it's time for me to take on another project. So we'll see. And when the time is right, you know, I'll make the announcement if it is something that I decide to move forward with. But that's where I've been at for the last couple of weeks, just trying to figure out, do I want to do this? Like, am I capable of taking on something else? You know?
And I
So
think when you're setting your boundaries, especially healthy boundaries, it's important for you to know, like, okay, when do I want to share? Is it something
right,
I even want to share? You know,
right,
and also being okay with the fact that if I don't share until I'm ready to release this out, am I okay with, I guess, like, not even have that support? Or again, you find that network of people where it's easy for you to talk about this decision. One of my line sisters, Ashley, Dr. Ashley Dash, she always talks about like her personal board of directors.
mhm,
And sometimes you have to lean in on those people who are like,
yeah,
they're going to give you wholehearted, the best advice you could ever take and receive
absolutely,
at that time while you're going through things. So yes, you're shutting down pretty much your normal circle, like your
right,
your intimate circle, but you're reaching out to a much wider group
right,
who know things and who's going to give you the best sound advice that you could ever receive whenever it comes to making especially important decisions like
right.
the ones that you're thinking about lately.
Right. With that being said, and that makes it difficult because like the area that I'm in, I don't have that support system, and I don't have that like-minded group. And I hate to say it, that like-minded group for me is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I just left that, and I'm just like, so I'm trying to process all of it. But like the people that I would touch base with, that I they're up there and I'm here by myself. And, but that was a conscious decision that I made. And I'm glad I made that decision because in that process, I was able to accomplish several goals that I was not able to accomplish up there. So we'll see. Like I said, when the time is right, if I over the next couple of weeks, I will be making a decision. And if it's something that I decide to move forward with when I'm ready, I'll let people know. But
Yeah.
bear with me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go.
just give me a couple more weeks. You know how I am. Just a
Yeah.
few more weeks. Let me let me write some things down. Let me manifest a few things.
I also
And then,
need to do the same thing, just getting
yeah,
ready for this transition for work,
right,
and these meetings and professional development opportunities I have, like, is really big.
right.
And yet alone the fact that grad school is starting literally next week. I've already received my syllabus, so I'm trying to get
Yay.
my mind mentally prepared for what is that going to look like, especially
Right.
a new class while working on my thesis. Like, it's just going to be a
Yeah.
huge undertaking and figuring out, honestly, establishing probably the new boundaries. Like,
You're gonna have to.
yeah,
You're gonna have to because you have all of this going on, between school, between work. You're going to have to set up some boundaries. Hey, I am only available during these hours, if that. I'm only available on these days, if that, because you have personal things that you're working on that those take priority over everything else.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And it's like we said a few weeks ago, it's not my problem,
not my problem.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So even if there's something big, just really
Mhm.
establishing what those boundaries look like for me
Right.
whenever it comes to that, because it's going to be a huge part of our life for like the next 9 months practically.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking at too with this next process. If I decide to go with it, it'll be that as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think when you have a good group of people that surround you, they understand, and especially with this new phase in our lives that it seems like the majority of our peer group is moving into anyways. Everybody's trying to do something. And
Right.
I think we're all on a personal growth right now. All of us are growing, all of us are doing something. So I think when you have a good group that surrounds you, they understand, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's part of being somebody's support system is understanding those boundaries, not crossing them, or not towing that line too much. So definitely, but what goes along with that is communication.
Absolutely.
That is, while I'm great at setting boundaries, I know that I have to work on communicating my boundaries because I set boundaries like I expect you to get it. But at the same time, I do need to do a better job of communicating, like, hey, this is what's going on. I don't necessarily do that until after the fact. And then, like you said, we're a situation where you're like, I was feeling some type of way. It's not intentional. I'm sorry. I really do apologize. But I do have a habit of doing that. And that is something that I'm personally attempting to work on.
Yeah.
Um, you laugh, but no, I am attempting to work on it. It's just I don't do it until after the fact, and it's, I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers. Definitely not trying to do that. So
But if it's easier for you to do it after and that works for you, it helps. It's just, I think for me, it's just a matter of knowing, like if I feel it, then it's like, okay, this is where she's at, you know?
yeah. Well, what it is I, you know me, like I take on a lot, right? But
Yeah.
then once I focus on something, I focus strictly on that, and then everything else is oblivious to me.
Right.
But I've always been that way, so that is not anything new. I've always like I can multitask. Don't get me wrong, I can definitely multitask, but when there is something in particular that I want to focus on, I shut down everything and I focus on that one thing.
Right.
Um, because that's the goal at the end of the day, right? And then afterwards, I'll have people come up to me and they're like, "Yo, what happened? Are you good?" And you're not the first person to say that. I've had a couple of friends over the years like, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Yeah, I had something I had to do," and they're like, you just went ghost on me. I did not mean to. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I do need to work on that. I gotta work on them communication skills or something, send out a mass text or something. I don't know.
I'm going into my hole.
I'm going to my hole. I'll see you when I come out. I'll let you know.
I see you in a few. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like,
yeah,
I get it. Nothing at all.
Sorry, my bad. No, because I definitely I have a couple of strained relationships because of that. And it's like, the people who know and who get it, they're like, all right, cool. This is just Ashley. This is what Ashley does. But the people who don't, I have one particular friend that I never hear, oh, you went ghost on me. It's like, did I ghost you though? Or did I focus on something that I needed to focus on and you just didn't like it? Because you didn't get my attention, and sometimes you gotta tell people that, like, I had to focus, and if you gotta focus on something, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I'm not,
Absolutely.
But I have a couple of strained friendships because of that. I was like, if we're true friends, then we'll get past it. It is what it is. So
yeah.
Anything else on setting boundaries?
No, I think this right here was great. I think you
Okay.
just number one key, as you
Okay.
shared, is communication.
Yeah.
Like communication, it
Yeah.
will get you so much further. I think
Yeah.
even in all aspects, it's just communicating.
We're
And
flashing people.
oh,
Boobs out. Flashing people. Just, hey, how you doing?
let's see, so you're good. But yeah, so number one thing is just communicating, but also communicating enough with yourself to know what are those boundaries that I am going to set for myself to make
Absolutely.
sure that I can stick with that. And I know that's something that I am going to be challenging myself with. I'm so excited to have my session with my counselor this week. But next, so we can talk even more about that because I'm going to be going through my transition as well.
Mm-hmm. So another thing with that, setting your boundaries, but making sure that you stick to them, right? Make sure that you're firm in those boundaries. Be firm with yourself and be firm with others as well.
Absolutely.
Let them know, hey, this is a place of love, but this is what I need. And it is okay to say, this is about me and it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say that. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else on setting boundaries?
No.
Nope.
That's it.
I'm good. I'm good to go. What was that?
So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. Definitely. If you have a better way of setting boundaries than I do, definitely let me know. I'm open to suggestions.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
But
working,
not you, but we want to hear from y'all. We want to know what you think. We want to know like how you feel. If you have ways of setting boundaries that have really worked for you, let us know because we're all working on our.
I'm open to it.
Yeah,
I'm open because me. I just be like, all right, I'm out. Deuces. Right. Like, all right, peace out. I was like, and it's so funny because people who know me, that I'm that person that I show up to an event and I'll show up on time, but I'll leave early. I'm that person. That's part of my boundaries. That's
like a 2-hour window.
Huh? I got an hour long. Girl, listen, I will show my face. Hey, what's up? How you doing? I don't even eat. I'll eat before I come. What's up? All right, out. Deuces, peace out. I need to fix this, because I love my space. I love my space, and I love my me time and stuff like that. Right. I am all for that. Mm-hmm. But listen, definitely, if you know of a better way to handle setting boundaries, let us know what some of your boundaries are. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us, give us the good, the bad, the ugly, anything in between. I'm all for it. I love it. So with that being said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. Definitely share, definitely subscribe, share it, get other people to listen. Tell us what you think, all that good stuff. Thank you for your time. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.